Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. We are back with yet again another episode of The Stories We Tell Ourselves. I am your host, Tony R. Sanders. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We had a wonderful episode last night with our guest, Jake Stamper. He talked about shifting our perspective, a lot of light bulb moments. We're going to have another great episode tonight. I'm calling it. I'm like Babe Ruth calling my shot. I'm pointing to the stands. I'm saying this one's going deep. We're going to have an amazing show for you guys tonight. And there's two things that make the show amazing. And one I can control, and one it's up to you guys. Number one, we have to have great guests. And I can guarantee you we have that tonight. We've had great guests every night. Tonight is no different. We're not going to change the formula. The formula is working. So we're bringing on amazing people that I know that you guys want to hear from. Here's the other thing. The other thing that makes it a great show is when you guys share, when you comment, when you let us know that you're there, you say, what's up? This is a live show. So I want to make sure that you're getting out of this what you need to get out of this, helping get information to work on your personal development, to help change the stories that you tell yourselves, or maybe even reinforce some stories that you tell yourselves. Maybe there's some positive stories that you've been telling yourself and you feel a little crazy in a negative world, and you want to make sure that you get reinforcement behind that. So we are here for that. So with that being said, I want to make sure that the comments are coming in. Say hello to me. I will say it back to you. Also, share this. If you know that someone in your circle and your network and your news feed could benefit from how to focus on gratitude, especially during these times, make sure you share this out. We're going to be live for the next 30 minutes or so. And I want to make sure that we get this information and help out as many people as possible. Now, to our guests, and to introduce our guests, I have a little bit of a backstory. I have to tell you this story. And Clinton D, I see you on Periscope. Thank you so much for joining. He said, peace. What's up? A little backstory about our guests. With this guest, we worked together years ago. I don't even remember when, maybe 2011 or 12 or something. I don't even know. But we worked together, and we worked in the same building initially. And here's the thing. She was working the front desk, the receptionist area, and I was a janitor pushing the broom. And here's what I loved about being a janitor, other than, cleaning up and cleaning toilets. I ain't like that part of it, even though I did go on to start my own cleaning company, but that's another story for another show. Here's what I loved about it, right? When you're a janitor, you get to see a different side of people. You get to see how people would treat you if they perceived you not to matter. And I know this is deep. We're getting deep already. We're like 2 minutes in and we're already getting deep, but you get to see that side of people, right? When you're the one that is, taking out their trash, when you're the one that's cleaning up the spills, and you're the one that's cleaning the restroom, you notice a lot about how people treat you. And one thing that I loved about our guest tonight, every time she saw me, she had a smile on her face. She was always warm. Her energy was amazing. She always said hello. She always was in good spirits, even when she wasn't having the best of days, even when I could tell that like she just had these entrepreneurial dreams that she wanted to go after so hard. And, we would talk about that. We would talk about her son, and we would talk about things. It was always a positive attitude, always positive energy. And her energy gave me life. That was one of the things we're going to be honest. We're going to keep it real, because this is my show. It's my platform. They can't kick me off. I hated going to that place. I hated it. I've had a lot of jobs. That was top 3 worst jobs ever. But we're not going to even talk about who the employer was. But I hated going to that place, but she was a bright spot. So I want to bring her on. In addition to that, she is the owner of a place that I haven't been to yet. But as soon as this quarantine is over, I want to go to Mimosa and a Masterpiece. I know a lot of you guys have gone there. I've seen your pictures of your paintings, and you're so happy. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a virtual round of applause to our guest tonight, Tajuana Hill. Miss T, what's up?
I was like,
talking about you.
Who is this human being?
There were a couple people from those days that I remember as just like being a positive light, but none of them topped the list higher than you. You were number one on the list. I was just like, you know what? When she's here, it makes it great, because your energy was always great. So let me ask you, how are you doing?
I I hate to say the buzzword, but I'm really good.
Yeah.
Um, this is this is a time that I'm energized in because it allows a space for me to do what I love, and that's create. And
Right.
so everything is changing, everything is new, um, or it has the opportunity to be new. And so I've
Mm.
always been a half full kind of girl, and um, I'm just really taking this moment to get centered and set some intention and make some good things happen.
I love that. So, well, before I asked you how you were doing, I already knew you were good. I could have answered for you. I said,
I
Tajuana, how you doing? I'm good. All right. But I love your explanation of being energized. I'm in that same boat. I feel like I'm more productive, more creative during these times. I'm getting more done. I'm setting more goals. I'm kind of being more ambitious with my goals. Even the product of this ambition that I have during this time, the creativity is this show that we're on right now. So
yeah.
I definitely agree 100% with that. Talk to us about this amazing thing that you've created with Mimosa and a Masterpiece. For the people who don't know what Mimosa and a Masterpiece is, explain it to them, let them know how long you've been doing it. Just give us a little brief backstory before we get into the gratitude stuff.
Yeah. So Mimosa and a Masterpiece uh, is in its eighth year, which is,
Wow.
I mean, even when I say it and think about it, I cannot believe it.
Right.
I mean, I really can't. And this is really the culmination of me just taking one step at a time. I had attended my first and only. They're called paint and sips, is what I have. So I attended that, and I came back home and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to help people feel the way I felt because I was really proud of myself. I had never painted before, and I really just started the business with an intention of having to be a place where I wanted to go, my employees wanted to go, and my customers would want to return to. And it's really a labor of love. Anybody that's in business knows that there is labor involved. But when you're doing something that you love and something that brings you joy, um, really, it's been my greatest teacher. So it is Mimosa and Masterpieces where you can come. You don't need any experience to paint. We teach you stroke by stroke, and at the end of about 2.5 to 3 hours, you leave with a masterpiece.
You've created the masterpiece. That's great. So I love that you called it a labor because it is a labor. It is something that you have to work at. I think that sometimes we get this picture of entrepreneurism as, on the beach with our laptop and our toes in the sand.
Yes,
And it's just not that. Like, as being an entrepreneur, I worked way harder and way more than I ever did when I was sweeping floors and cleaning bathrooms. It was
yes,
and the not just the physical work, not just the hours, the emotional and
mental,
mental aspects of it. Just
spiritual.
the spiritual aspects
Yes,
of it. Absolutely, absolutely. It's one side of my brain is saying, I don't know when my next paycheck is going to come from. I don't know where this revenue is going to come from. I don't know where if the next sale is going to come in. The
yes,
other side of my mind is saying, trust in the Lord at all times.
yes,
you got, you
yes,
never know where it's going to come from. Nothing's a
yes,
sure thing anyway. And so
yes,
I completely understand that labor. And you know what? I'm a super creative person, but I can't paint anything. Like, I just can't. I painted the walls that we see here that you can kind of see. I kind of got it real tight so you can't see
yes,
you can't see the details. If you looked around the edge and you'd be like, what happened right there? But so I like the ability to go in, and not have the necessary skills to create a masterpiece, but
yes.
still come out with a masterpiece. And
So
so,
here's the thing about adults.
okay.
So when kids and teenagers come into Mimosa and a Masterpiece, they're fearless.
Hmm.
Like, they need very little direction. They know the colors that they want. I mean, they're very, very decisive on their what they want to create and their ability to create it.
Hmm.
The hurdle that is there for adults some adults is that they want to be an expert as they're learning.
Mm.
So you really have to put yourself in the place of being a student, because if I came on your job the first day, I wouldn't know how to do it either. But I would be open to you teaching me and learning and guiding and making mistakes and trying again. And so, really, if I can just get you to relax enough to just trust the process,
Mm.
because it works. You know, we paint with acrylic paint, they're very forgiving. We have incredible artists who, you know, I call them magicians, because if you do the wrong thing, you know, they come over and fix it. And so, really, it's just about relaxing enough to enjoy the experience. So, if you can do that, you'll be fine.
This is what I love about this show, right? And we've done, what is this, episode 8, I think.
Yeah.
Um, so we started last week. We're only going to do 5 episodes, and now we've almost doubled that. What I love
Awesome.
about this show is that whatever guests I have on, whatever we talk about, it always seems to resonate with something I've been thinking, something I've been going through or trying to develop. And one of the things that I've been trying to develop, and I did it on my other daily show, talk about being creative. I have 2 daily shows going on right now. That's
Yes, you do.
insane. When I did on my other daily show, I talked about I'm thinking about how to get people to do more, right? And not necessarily think about all the things and worry about being good at it at first. I just want people to do it. And what you just said is people are afraid or apprehensive because they're worried about being an expert while they're supposed to be learning.
Yeah.
And that's such a light bulb moment for me, because that's what I do with content. That's what I do with anything that I create, anything creative. I'm just learning. I just need to taste it a
Yeah.
little bit to see what it tastes like, to see if I like it. You know, I had to put the okra in my mouth to
Yeah.
be able to be like, I don't like this, but I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to be an expert okra eater, if that's even a thing.
Yeah.
I had to take a sip of the wine first before I could determine if I liked it. And I did it however I needed to do it to get a sip. I wasn't a sommelier. I wasn't a professional. I didn't get the color and the legs and the nose.
Yeah.
I just tasted it to see if I liked it.
Yeah.
And I learned not only more about that creative process, I learned more about myself. And so that's
Absolutely.
what I love about what you just said, because if people could just stop trying to be an expert and try to learn
Yeah.
about your craft, learn about the process,
Yeah.
learn about yourself, and just do it,
Yeah.
I think that can get people going a little bit more. So, okay.
Okay. So let
um,
me let me say one quick thing about that.
go.
I would love for people to just be open to the fact that there are times where the best thing for them to do is not to trust their brain and what they're thinking. And I say that
Mm,
because one of your brain's main responsibilities is to keep you safe.
right.
So it doesn't want to try anything new. It
Yes.
wants to drive the same way to work that you always drive. Wear the same clothes. I mean, you name it. It wants to do everything the same. So if you go on your mind and thinking and in a place where you're going to stay safe, like you're going to continue to do the same thing you did yesterday and the same thing you did today.
One
Think about
interesting thing, I I'm right with you. One interesting
that.
thing about kids, we talk about kids just going and doing. One major difference between the two of us is we've been programmed longer. And
Yeah.
what I mean by that is we've had these repetitive stories that play over and over in our minds of what we can do, what we can't do, what we're limited to, what we have access to, what's good for us, what's not good for us, what's safe, what's unsafe. Even if we haven't tried it, we
Yes.
have these stories that we tell ourselves in our minds and our programming,
Yes.
and we never take the time to just pause and say, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, where did that thought come from?
Yes.
Sometimes I may catch myself saying, I don't know if I can do that. And I haven't tried yet, right? And I'm like, wait. Hold on. Hold on. I'm me. Like, what do you mean I can't do that? Let
Yes.
me at least try it first.
Yes.
Let me try it and be bad at it, or learn and do whatever. But like, let me at least try it first. So I
Yes.
think it's good to, um, not only like lay aside those thoughts when you're trying something new, because it's going to tell you this isn't good, this isn't safe. but
yes.
just evaluate that, figure out the root of it. Where's that stuff coming from? Like how did that get there? What's the origin of
Did
that? When you
somebody
go
tell
to see
me
a
that?
therapist, that's what they do.
Did somebody tell me that when I was 5 and I believed them?
Right.
Is that really true?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And we sometimes we adopt other people's stories, right? They tell us things that we can't do because they can't do it, and then we adopt it and we start to wear that as our own story to say, "Oh, well, I guess I can't do that either." But okay, so
You made all that. Yeah, yeah,
we could jam on that forever because but I really, really though, I think it's worth the time because I think it's really important to get people to just do. I talk to so many people who are paralyzed by all the things that we're talking about, those repetitive stories about, being judged or
yeah.
something not looking perfect or something not turning out the way that they wanted it to, not realizing all the opportunity in that. If something doesn't turn out the way that you wanted to, one, from an optimistic side, I'm like relentlessly optimistic, it
Yep.
could turn out better than you ever expected.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
had things happen and I had a plan and it went out and God did his thing and I was like, whoa,
Yes.
okay, that
Yep.
was better. Yeah, go ahead. I'll roll with that.
I meant to
It's
do that.
yeah, I'm good with that too. Yeah. So I think sometimes we just have to get out of our own way, just do it
Absolutely. Yes.
and learn, trust the process, everything that you just said
Yes.
so wonderfully.
Yes.
Um, I want to ask you about gratitude, but I also want to ask you about your energy. You always have positive energy. I imagine that comes from gratitude. But what I want to know is, are you naturally that way? Has that always been Tajuana since a little girl? Do you wake up that way? Or is it something that you've developed into or that you have to work on every single day? It seems like it comes natural. It seems like you just wake up and like, hey world, but I don't know. So you got to give it to me because I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking as I'm listening to your question, and the funny thing is, in my office, um, I've been organizing and throwing things away, and what did I don't even know what I did with that. So I had this huge binder. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, I had this huge binder filled with positive articles, sayings, quotes. I mean, it was probably maybe a 3-inch thick binder.
Hmm.
And some of the articles dated back to 2003.
Whoa.
And so it was really like, wow, like I have really been in this game a long time. Um, so I think to answer your question, for for as long as I can remember, I've just tried to be a good steward for people, a cheerleader for people,
Mm-hmm.
really try to be a source of good and kind
Mm-hmm.
of use my powers for good. So for as long as I can remember, I'm 80, there's the 80-20 rule. I would say
Yeah.
80% of
Sure.
the time I'm, at about 100.
Yeah. I remember some days walking into work and I would say, "Hey, Miss T, how you doing?" And you like, "They working on me today, but I'm good."
Right.
And you would say it with a smile even. And I'm like, "Okay, that's a different way to handle that."
Yes.
But I think what's interesting about your answer is even though for as long as you remember you've been that way,
Yeah.
the fact that you had that much information that was positive articles, positive information
Yeah.
lets me know that you do a good job of feeding yourself positivity and surrounding yourself with positivity. And it's easy to stay in that realm, if you will, if you're always feeding yourself positive messaging, positive stories. I used to do this thing that I forgot about until just now. Um, I used to do this thing where when I felt like my mindset wasn't where it needed to be,
Hmm.
I would get in my car,
Hmm.
hop on 465,
Oh wow.
raise my windows down, and I would throw out all the negative CDs I had
Oh
in my car, dating myself a little bit. I
yep.
would throw out, if it was a hip hop CD, R&B CD, whatever, I would just throw it out the window. And what I was attempting to do was create an environment in my vehicle that every time I got in the car, it was something motivational. It was
Love it.
something spiritual. It was something uplifting. It was something positive. And every time I did that, things started to turn around. There was a time in my life where I was living with a relative because I couldn't afford housing.
Yeah.
And my mindset was, and I was out of work, and my mindset was so negative that I had to start reprogramming myself, telling myself different stories, kind of, filling my life with that. And then I started to become the things that I listened to. I started to become more upbeat and more positive. When I say I'm like relentlessly optimistic,
Yes.
that's where that comes from. It comes from that, reprogramming, rewriting those stories so
Yeah.
that I can then go live that and deploy that out to the world. So even though you've been that way for as long as you can remember, I
Yeah.
think that has a lot to do with it, you surrounding
Yeah.
yourself with those things.
And so here's the other thing. I really take a lot of care in just what you said, the people who I follow on Instagram,
Mm, talk about it.
because I want my feed to be like, oh my gosh, this quote. Oh, this is a funny kid. I love small humans. Uh, but I wanted, certain people who request me as friends on Facebook. It's like I can't I really try to be intentional on the stuff that I take in. I don't watch a lot of news. My fiance, because
Hey,
you know,
hey.
we love to watch movies, and so he could be like, okay, what movie you don't want to watch, and I'm like, you pick. He's like, you ain't gonna watch. You're not gonna want to watch that. Like if it's a whole lot of killing and shooting and people dying,
Wow.
I don't want to do it because I like hold on to that. Like the
Right.
way I hold on to the good stuff. If I don't want to watch anybody fighting, getting killed. I mean, I can watch some of it a little bit, but I'm very intentional on the stuff that I really allow to come into, because it's energy. Like
Right.
everything is contagious.
Hmm.
This virus is the negative, the positive. That's one of the reasons why I gravitate to gravity and to gratitude and positivity, and you know uh, my circle of friends and the people who I hang around with. It's we lift each other up. Like that's we encourage each other. Like that's what we do.
That is a big light bulb moment. Everything is contagious, positive or negative. Everything is contagious. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's a good reminder
Yeah,
for people that if you're gonna be in a certain environment and surround yourself with certain things, certain people, even if it's just right here on your
yeah,
device,
yeah.
it's gonna rub off on you in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So
Yes.
let me ask you this. Let's get into um, some more about gratitude. Gratitude is something that's thrown around a lot, but I think it's undervalued when it comes to actually practicing gratitude.
Yeah.
So, my question for you is, how do you practice gratitude? What does that look like for you on a day to day, week to week basis?
So I am a believer that what you focus on expands. I don't care what it is. So when I was starting my business, I was very focused on that. My son was grown. I wasn't in a relationship. So I was at Mimosa and Masterpiece all the time. If I'm in a relationship with somebody, with Dennis, and I can choose to focus on everything good about him, or I can start looking for negative things. On my job, I can focus on, oh my gosh. Or, I can be at a place where I'm blessed, and, you know, it's it has allowed me to pay for, my expenses, great benefits, like all of that. It is really about focusing on what you want, because
Mm,
if you know I I I use this as a little quick example. So everybody
okay.
sees paper. Everybody sees this is a holds paper clip. So it's a magnet.
Hmm.
So your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions are this. This
Okay.
is standard. So Whether if you think a lot of think of a lot of positive thoughts, you think a lot of negative thoughts,
Mm.
it's the same.
Mm.
And so for me, I'm not perfect at gratitude. Sometimes people and things and situations get on my nerve, but I don't stay there. I give myself,
Right.
if I'm upset at something, it's like, okay, you got 10 minutes. Or,
Mm. You give yourself 10 minutes.
yes, or Tawana, you can call one person.
Mm.
And so, because I want to talk about it, I want to get it off my chest, but I don't want to talk to Dennis and talk to Pam and talk to you and talk to such
Right.
and such and blah, blah. Because every time I retell that story, all those feelings and thoughts and emotions come up. And so for me, it's about focusing on what what is important to me, what I want, what's going to be healthy for me. I coach sometimes, and when clients come to me and they're like, I'm overwhelmed. I say yes, too much, no, not enough. The first thing I have them do is let's let's log how you're spending your time. Let's
Right.
look at that. So, are you spending 3 hours on social media? 6 hours at work, sleeping 4 hours. Like, what does that look like? Because where you're spending your time, that's what you're focusing on.
Mm.
So, just like with gratitude, if I, okay, so that you remember how people at Starbucks was paying it forward? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
So, you pay for the drink behind you.
Yep.
So, in Florida, for 11 hours, people paid it forward. 11 hours.
Wow.
11 hours people were paying for the person behind them. Now I think this guy's name was Peter. He decided that he was going to stop it
Mm.
because he felt like people were being forced to do it.
Interesting.
Yes, interesting, isn't it? So, everybody has their own thought process about gratitude. For me, I would have loved to have kept that going because not only is gratitude does it make you feel good, but the person that you are showing your gratitude for feels good.
Mm.
So
That's right.
it is for you, but it's also for other people.
Gratitude is a two-way street. It works
It is.
both ways. It makes you
It
feel good. It also makes the other person feel good as well. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate all those thoughts. Um, if we can get me back up on the screen just for a second, there is a couple of light bulb moments so far. Trust the process.
Yeah.
So I see that a couple of times. Relax and trust the process. Everything is contagious.
Yeah.
I love that. Your thoughts and feelings are magnetic. You can attract positivity or negativity.
Yes.
And one of the things that I want to unpack from what you just said was gratitude is a choice. It's a choice that you can decide to make at any time. The practice of gratitude is a choice. And so even when things happen that are seemingly not in your favor or they make you upset, you
Yeah.
have a rule or a system in place to say, okay, I'm going to give myself 10 minutes
Yes.
to be mad about that. And I'd be willing to bet that once you do that, you already kind of calm down
Yes.
and maybe you take it for the next 10 minutes, but after that you release it because you don't want those stories to keep drumming up those feelings. So I love that. That was a great teachable moment there as well. Another thing with gratitude just being a choice,
Mhm.
being intentional about I'm going to be grateful for this situation, or I'm going to focus on the positivity. Your energy goes where your focus is. And
Yes.
so I think that that's a big one too. I coach people, formally and informally all the time.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
sometimes we're talking and they just say, I just can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that? I don't know what it is. I mean, I know what to do. I know how to do it. I just can't bring myself to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you could though.
Hmm.
You could.
Yeah.
It's a choice. I
Yes.
don't want to confuse simplicity with easy because there are some mental roadblocks that we've built up over the years
Absolutely.
that may make it difficult to do.
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that we can't. We can. We have to decide to, and draw a line in the sand and just say, I'm doing it. I'm going to decide to be grateful in this moment. I'm
Yeah.
going to choose gratitude.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that I focus on what I want
Yes.
and not what I don't want.
Yeah.
What else can you share with us about gratitude?
So here's the thing about gratitude. There was a doctor who did a study. I think it was Dr. Emmis. I think he was maybe out of New York. But
Okay.
he had three groups of people um, in a journal. One of them would journal, the first group would journal the things that they were grateful for. The second group would journal the things that were negative in their life. And the third group just journaled about anything.
Hmm.
So you can choose the group that you want to be in. But if you are writing or talking about the negative things that are going on in your life, that's that is what your focus is.
Right.
And so you're going to focus on other things that are negative.
Hmm.
The thing about gratitude is that, um, so the reason why I have people write down, preferably in cursive, the things that they're grateful for is because it's like your mind connects with your body through your fingers and it comes out on the piece of paper.
Right.
So your handwriting connects with your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggest people write what they're grateful for right before they go to bed. Number one, because you want to focus on things that have brought you joy. Either you finding a great parking spot,
Right. Even the small things.
yes, or um, maybe you wrote your mom a heartfelt letter and mailed it to her.
Hmm.
So to go to sleep on that, opposed to I hate my job, so and so said this, somebody cut me off. That's a different kind of energy that you're actually laying down and trying to go to sleep with.
Right. So, writing it before sleep, and then do we wake up and read it the next morning?
So you can,
That's where my mind went. I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah, you can certainly do that, and what that does is it sets you up with an intention for the next day. So the
Hmm.
good thing about gratitude and writing in it at night is that when you wake up in the morning, you know that when you come home at night, you're going to have to write something down on that paper.
Right.
So you start opening yourself up to experience or create gratitude.
Right. One other thing that's interesting about writing it down, and I like to have people write it and say it.
Yeah,
The reason why is, adults, everyone, we learn three different ways, right? We have our auditory learners, we need to hear it, our
yeah,
visual learners, and our kinesthetic learners. Our visual learners need to see it, our
yeah,
kinesthetic learners need to do it in order for them to really get it.
yeah,
Well, when you say it verbally and you write it down, and I love writing it in cursive, that just made it feel like this epic thing, because when you think about
yeah,
writing something in cursive, it's normally something important. It's
yeah,
normally a signature or a really, really formal letter. And
yeah,
so it puts a level of importance into it.
yeah,
A check we have to sign if we're still doing that. It puts a level of importance into it
yes,
to draw our focus, and it tells a different story to our mind and our eyes when we see it. So if we write that down, we're doing something, right?
yeah,
So we're activating the kinesthetic part of our brain. If
yeah,
we are visually seeing it, we're activating the visual parts of our brain. And then once we say it, once we wake up and read it,
yeah,
now we've heard it. Not only have we said it, we believe it, but now we've heard it. So now we've activated all three parts. So
yes.
I love that. That's
Great,
super, super
great.
powerful. This is like tag team coaching session right now. It's like, all
Yeah,
right, high five. Oh, wait, other side.
yes.
High
High
five.
five. Oh, wait a minute. Other side. High
There
five.
you
This
go.
side. High five.
All right.
Fun.
Before we leave, before we wrap this up, anything else you want to share with us about gratitude? And then I have another question I want to ask you.
Yeah, so I would just encourage people to try it. You know,
Hmm.
it could you could start with one thing you're grateful for, three or five. and just try to do it for 21 days. You know, they say it takes 21 days to make a habit. So open yourself up to do something that can really be um, really impactful for you. Gratitude helps with your health, forgiveness. It creates love. I mean, so many great things come from gratitude, and so I just really, really would encourage everybody to try it, and then pay attention to how they're feeling and how the things that they're grateful for is increased and
Hmm.
becomes more impactful.
Got it. Pay attention to how you're feeling. That feedback that your brain, your heart, your body will give you
Yeah.
is invaluable. Okay. So last question, and then I promise we'll get out of here because we're already over 30 minutes. But I just love this conversation so much, and we can always have a good conversation when we talk. So
Yes.
how are things going during this pandemic with social distancing and things being shut down with Mimosa and a Masterpiece? Are you guys like, painting 6 feet away from each other? I got everybody spread out, or we're doing virtual sessions? What's going on?
So we are closed,
Hmm.
and because of course the safety of me,
Yes.
my employees, and my beloved customers is very important. The great thing about it is that maybe a wow, maybe 4 years ago, I trademarked Mimosa and a Masterpiece in a Box,
Hmm.
and so since then, the orders for painting at home have really increased because people are looking for things to do at home with their kids. And so that's one of the things that's really great about something like this. On Sunday, I'm gonna have my first Zoom painting class.
Hmm.
Extremely excited about because being an entrepreneur, you have to be open to
Absolutely.
change and pivoting, and that's what it's about. So Mimosa and a Masterpiece will be fine. It may look different in the future, who knows?
Hmm.
But um, you know, I've been telling people who ask me it's going to look the way God wants it to look,
Mm.
and so I'm open. I'm open to whatever that looks like. So, I'm probably a little more overly cautious just because um, of when it will open because we're in close quarters.
Yeah.
It's for 2.5 to 3 hours.
Right.
Of course, I want my people to be safe. So we'll see. We'll do it in a way that's safe and that makes the most sense.
Yeah. It'll be a little hard to do Mimosa Mask and a Masterpiece.
Yeah.
That's a little. That's a little. I like the
Right.
alliteration,
Most
but
of the ass and a masterpiece. Hey.
you never know.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the mimosa and the masterpiece in a box. Like, where do we go to get that? Or if anybody, I'm asking for myself, but if
Yeah.
anybody watching, they want to go get it,
Yeah.
where do we go?
Yeah, so everything is at mimosa-masterpiece.com. And the great thing about it is I even have okay, so let me do a little plug. I wrote a gratitude journal.
Love it.
And so the great thing about it is there's space for you to be grateful and then also to journal about your day. And
Hmm.
there's insightful questions in there. One of which is let's see here. I know I'm on my time limit.
No, you're fine.
Let's see here. Let's read a question.
Let's do it.
What qualities are important to you in relationships and friendships?
Hmm. What qual? You know what? I really value people who can give honest and candid feedback.
That's awesome.
Like that's really valuable for me because I'm always gonna run and go and do. I'm
Yeah.
a very focused, task driven person, and so I need feedback
Yeah.
to make sure that I'm aligning, to make sure that I'm not missing things, to make sure that um, I am, coming off to people that I'm close to, that I love,
Yeah.
in the proper way. If I'm focused on one thing and you call me over here and I just,
Yeah.
give you one of those, like, yeah, go do it. I want to make sure that
Yeah.
I'm doing that. So I really, really value the people in my life that are willing and capable of like giving me really great feedback.
Yeah. And that really says a lot about you because, you know, sometimes feedback is difficult to hear.
It is. It is.
We need to hear it. It's for our good, but sometimes it's difficult to hear.
Yeah, I would agree. I think some people shy away from
Yeah.
feedback because it feels like judgment.
Yes.
But I don't see it as judgment. I just see it as someone is helping me improve in a certain area.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
thank you for that. So that's the gratitude journal. So that is available as well at Mimosa and a
It
Masterpiece.
is, and I mean, I
Okay.
have a gratitude box that has there's an activity for self gratitude and
Okay.
outward gratitude. Just a lot of focus on doing great things in the world. I've given away a lot of that this week, just because I want to do my part. And I'm blessed, and so I want to bless other people.
Got it.
Yeah.
I just thought of something. I'm gonna sign off, but I just thought of something that we all should do. If you're
Yes.
watching this live on the replay, I'm gonna do it right now. We should all go into our phones,
Yes.
text someone that we're grateful for, and just tell them. Just tell them, hey, I'm super grateful for you. And
Yes.
be specific. Don't give them, hey, grateful for you, smiley face, wink, wink emoji. Be
Yes.
specific. Tell them why you're grateful for them. I'm going to do that. I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure that I send that to someone. I already have a person in mind. I'm going to do it as soon as we get off. But
I am
if
too.
you're watching this,
Yes.
send it. Just open your phone, send a text message to someone. Tell
Yes.
them why you're grateful for the relationship that you have with that person.
Yes, I
So I
love
want to
it. I love
thank you so much for doing this.
you. Oh my gosh, it was a pleasure.
I
Thank
hope the next time we talk, it's not on a live stream. It's just catching up,
you.
saying what's up,
Yeah,
something like that.
I
So
agree. Hey, Bree, come on down the plane. It's on me. Come on
I
down.
definitely, with me and my wife,
Yes,
would I
bring
love
it
to.
on.
I've never done anything like that before.
Queen. You
I've
heard
never
that?
done it.
We
Say it
got him
again.
on record. We got him on record, Queen.
I'm coming. I'm
Queen.
coming. We're
We got him
gonna
on
be there.
record.
I'm actually thinking about when this is done, going to your website and
Yes,
doing it here at the house because I've never done it before.
yes,
So we're definitely gonna make that happen. But thank
yes.
you so much for being on the
Thank you
show.
for having me.
I really, really appreciate it. You were an amazing guest. And I
Yeah.
want to say to everyone who is watching, definitely, if you can follow Tajuana on social media, I love her Instagram account because it's always inspirational. It's always funny. Like she says, she loves little humans. So she's going to,
Mm.
those are going to pop up. What's your Instagram handle? I don't know if I remember it.
It's Tajuana Hill.
Tajuana Hill.
Yep. J.
TAJAUNNAHILL.
TAJ.
TAJUA.
UNA. Tajuana
Gotcha.
Hill.
TAJUANA.
That's it.
Yeah, I
Yes.
got it.
You don't listen.
I got it. I got it. I've learned to listen. Okay.
Yes.
So definitely follow her on Instagram. And another great episode, guys. We'll be back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same platforms, with a different guest. We're going to have the dream catcher himself, David Gibson, another person that I really enjoy talking with. So he's going to be here talking to us about how to remain positive during tough times. So you don't want to miss that. Share it with a friend. Come, bring a friend, bring a spouse, bring a relative, and watch this tomorrow at 6 p.m. Until next time, I'll see you guys. Take care of yourself. Be safe. I love you. Peace.